Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Albie. If you are new here, I'm so happy to have you. Don't forget to subscribe before leaving. Welcome back to another Mood Board Monday. For those of you who are not familiar, Mood Board Monday, basically something that I started on my blog where I would go down memory lane with some of my favorite designs, and I would take you guys through a bit of my e-design process from the mood board or concept board all the way to the final design that's delivered to the client. A lot of the times when you're dealing with a online design, I don't necessarily get to see the final installation. This is an opportunity for me to revisit the awesomeness that is the design I delivered, and just kind of really share with you guys what's happening. I decided to take that from my blog here to YouTube, well, not from, because I'm doing them together, and give you guys more of a visual inside look of my process. So you get a chance to see the design, see the mood board, and do a little bit of shopping. If you missed last week's Mood Board Monday, check that out there. And let's jump into this week's. This week's Mood Board Monday is going to be a dining room. I had originally done this design, let's back it up a little bit. When I first started in e-design, I started on third-party platforms, which in a nutshell, clients buy a package from these platforms. There's tons of them out there, and essentially they get matched with a designer, whether it's an automatic match or designers are bidding and then the client chooses one. Whatever the process is, it was like a matchmaking service for clients and designers. This particular design was one that I had originally created to bid on a project, but I never submitted it. I had gone back and forth because I loved the project and I loved the concept and her aesthetic and all that jazz. But at that time I was kind of going through a moment of crisis with my career. I was really evaluating how I could be more intentional with the projects that I was doing, the clients that I was working with, if I even wanted to stay as a third-party designer. So I went back and forth, and when I had finally said, screw it, I'll submit, I'll bid or whatever, the window had already closed. So I took that as a sign. I threw the design in my archives and kept it pushing. I really loved the concept board that I had come up with. So I posted it, this was months ago, either on my Instagram or maybe it was Insta Stories or somewhere. I posted it, did the hashtag thing. Yeah, it was definitely Instagram. And within that same week or so, someone messaged me, asking me about this concept board, like saying they loved it and it was really inspiring, and it's something, it was along the lines of what they were looking to do with their space. So they were just kind of asking me all the questions related to the design. So I explained to them, I was like, this is just a concept board, this is how I would typically start out a design process, kind of just giving them a little bit more information about me, the design, my process, so on and so forth. We got to talking, and they were like, if this was something they saw on Pinterest, they would have pinned it as, the inspiration for their dining room. And that was like super flattering for me, like, oh, that's an inspiration, oh, that's dope. And we're talking, we're going back and forth, and she asked me, could she buy this? And I was like, well, I don't sell, mood boards, like pre-made designs, but, we can definitely pull together a design. You purchase, your design package, whatever it is that you think you need, and we can go from there with this being our starting point. Clearly I have an idea of what your inspiration is like, so we're kind of really off to a great start, and if you want we can go from there. She wanted, and so from there we went. This dining room was something that was really dear to her because for as long as she could remember, their dining room was never a dining room. She was doing work there, her husband was doing work there, the kids were doing homework, bills were getting paid, everything was happening there except dining. And she wanted to really take back that space for her family, you know, to be able to sit down and have family dinners, game nights, conversation, quality time, dinner parties, and not just a table in a room overrun with papers and books and laptops and all the things. So this was something that was really near and dear to her. She had a specific vision and we were going to make it happen. We were clearly off to a really great start. I had a really great sense of her design aesthetic, her color palette, all that jazz. And I made a few teeny tiny tweaks to the concept board using her design brief that we had put together. And we really assessed what her specific needs were and where it made sense for us to go from here. Then we started shopping. She was adamant about, like, was non-negotiable, was the chairs. So when I put together a concept board, it is a concept, it is just a launching point, but I do my absolute best to never include photos or items that I cannot speak to if I need to down the line, because almost always there is something on there that the client is like, I want that, like that specific thing, and the last thing I want to do is tell them I pulled it off of Pinterest and I don't know anything about it. Even if it's not attainable, I want to at least be able to tell them, well, it was a custom piece, or it's out of stock, or it won't fit your budget. Whatever the situation is, I still want to be able to speak to it. So when she told me the chairs were non-negotiable, she absolutely had to have them, I was like, okay, we're gonna make this happen. So we started with the chairs, and the other piece that we definitely knew we had to start with was the table. She wanted to be able to definitely make sure her family could fit. It was a family of 4, but she wanted at least seating for 6 to 8, because sometimes she hosts dinners, entertains friends, has out-of-town guests, and wanted to be able to accommodate everyone. So the first thing I submitted was the 2D design board to kind of give her a peek into what the design could ultimately end up looking like, and she absolutely loved it. She used that board to get the final thumbs up and go ahead from her husband and her kids, because she wanted everyone to feel happy in this place. So the glam definitely came through with accents, you know, the lighting, the gold touches, the bases of the chairs, gorgeous, and even just the blue leather definitely said luxe glam without being too feminine or too overpowering. The dining room had a beautiful wainscoting, which is something she had wanted to hide for a really long time. And so her first thought was, let's just paint it all one color. I was like, no, we can accent this without it necessarily taking over the whole space or making it feel too traditional. So we just did that with a really clean coat of white paint, clean, cool backdrop for the space. The lighting had the gold accents, and the artwork was going to feature greenery. Yes, I was going to bring in some real plants in terms of, you know, decor, but having that as part of the artwork really introduced layers of nature in the space in a way that worked for her aesthetic. The rug also threaded the blue throughout that would go with the wall and the chairs, and then wrapping it all up would be, you know, the window treatments and other decorative pieces like that. We had this really clean white sideboard for storage, because not only did I want her to be able to store her plates and dining essentials, but I also, let's be realistic, working in your dining room to not working in your dining room is a bad habit to break. So I wanted to at least have the option of, in the off chance that we at the very least end up in here paying bills, you have a place to store some papers or store your laptop neatly out of sight, maintaining the integrity of the rest of the design. The dining table, like I said, we were definitely going with an extension table so that she would have the option of entertaining down the line. Beautiful wood table, really introducing some texture. I was super duper happy with it, not only because it was something that I really thought I would never get to bring to life, but because she was super happy with it, her family was super happy with it, and I could see, and when I say see, I mean that literally, because we did have some web video conference chats. I could see the change this was going to bring for this family and for their work-life balance, and that was one of her biggest concerns. For her and her husband, they weren't creating the family memories that they had imagined when they first started having kids. Instead, they were in the dining room working. They wanted to have a life. So for them, this was going to give them some semblance of a work-life balance. This was at least going to be the beginning of this change, and I was so happy to be a part of it. So yeah, this is the final tour of our organic glam dining room. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like this style of video, make sure you actually click the thumbs up and like, share, comment below. What did you think about the design? Is there another kind of room you'd like to see? I work on pretty much all rooms, but obviously my mood board Mondays, is that the sun? My mood board Mondays are me revisiting my favorites, but let me know what kind of room you'd love to see next, and I'll see if I can make that happen. And again, it bears repeating, subscribe before you leave. I will be doing these mood board Mondays every Monday, every other Monday, depending on how life goes. And I'm definitely working on being more consistent on my channel to have a set schedule. So definitely Mondays, and the second day for something else will be Wednesdays or Thursdays, TBD. But yeah, thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for checking out this video, and I will catch you guys next time.